Today, I sit down with a real conversation with Dr. Shonda Sessoms about strengthening homes, protecting emotional wellness, and supporting the hearts and minds of both parents and children. See, healing begins when we acknowledge what we carry. Love grows when we intentionally create healthy environments. Join us for this powerful Healing and Love series conversation. I am certified transformation life coach Takenya K. Johnson, the host of His Brave, Her Brave, Our Brave. So let's dive in. You've been a licensed professional counselor for over 11 years, serving clients across multiple states. What originally led you into the field of mental health counseling?
What led me into mental health counseling? Well, I was in school for my master's for school counseling. And one of the things that I noticed is that there was a lot of limitations. And so I didn't want to be boxed in. And so if I wanted to service not just the young people that I encounter in the school, I want to also be able to do some more work, not just the academic part of it. I wanted to be able to hone in into the emotional mental health piece. So I decided to go in and take some additional courses for mental health so that would afford me the opportunity to sit for the licensure test for mental.
Mhm. Okay, so serving individuals in several different states, it gives you a broad lens.
Mm.
So have you noticed how common emotional themes that people struggle with, even though they're in different locations?
Very common.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter if you are in the northern region of the country, the southern region, the eastern, or even the western. People are having similar issues, and
Mm.
they're more common and more frequent than people realize.
Mhm. Mm. So
Mm.
you served as lead professional school counselor and life wellness coach within the Jackson Public School District for a decade.
Yes.
So what did that season teach you about emotional needs of middle school and high school students?
First, I start with the middle school. It taught me that middle school is the hardest or the most difficult time or period in a child's life. They are not so much as a kid anymore, but they're not matured into that adolescent, mid-adolescent adult. So they're in between. So they're trying to discover and who they are.
Mhm.
They're learning about relationships somewhat,
Mhm.
friendships, and they really have a tough time even identifying. And many of them have a tough time in the home as well. So the school is a place where they somewhat seek safety, shelter.
Mhm.
And so then when you get to high school, um, they are more advanced somewhat in terms of how they see things. They become to realize and understand things better. But
Mhm.
the emotional side of it is that it's neglected, I would say.
Mhm.
And not to the counselor's charge, but due to so many things that a counselor has to do within the school system, they're not able to really address the emotional side of them. So a lot of times the kids they go lacking. And so I saw a need where no, I want to be able to help them with their emotional, their social, their how to interact because a lot of times young people have not been taught how to properly and effectively express themselves.
Mhm.
So they grow up and they get into relationships with people, whether it's platonic relationships or even romantic relationships, and they don't know how to interact.
Mm. So that leads me to my next question. I was going to ask you is what are some of the challenges you constantly saw amongst the adolescents that adults they overlooked?
Young people want to be not just heard, but listened to.
Mhm.
And I believe that they have not been given the space the safety and security of being able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people will say, well, listen to me, you do as I say. But believe it or not, young people, yes, they still have a lot to learn,
Mm-hmm.
but if you sit and listen to them, I believe that we as adults will learn a lot too.
Mm.
And they do have something to say, and they
Mm-hmm.
do have thoughts, they do have feelings. So I'm really big on allowing young people to talk about what they're thinking, how
Mm-hmm.
they're feeling. And it also gives them the opportunity to feel that they are included.
Mm.
I think that's one of the biggest thing, inclusion. They want to feel included. And so
Mm-hmm.
we have to do a better job at making sure that our young people are included. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? And trying to understand them rather than trying to say that you shouldn't think this way, you shouldn't feel this way. No, they're thinking that way and they're feeling that way. Let's talk about what's causing you to feel and think that way. I think if we address it from that angle, then we'll be able to better um, understand them and help them with whatever issues that they're facing.
Mm. I love that. So, how did working inside of the school system shape the way you approach families in your private practice now?
Oh, the school system really helped me with that because I saw the disconnect. And my whole purpose was to bring a sense of cohesiveness and togetherness to the family unit so that they can understand that it's bigger than just one family member.
Mm-hmm.
One person's actions in the family unit can affect the entire family. It just doesn't affect one person, whether it's the mother, whether it's the father, whether it's one of the siblings in that family. So being mindful of what we do, what we think, what we say can affect the whole family unit. So when it comes to the school, a lot of times it's the blame game. Want to blame the school, school want to blame. We have to come together and say, okay, what part am I playing in making this situation more beneficial for the child?
Mm.
So each
Okay.
person has to look at themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so into my private practice, teaching the parent how to listen to the child, teaching the parent or teaching the child, okay, excuse me, how to listen to the parent, teaching them how to take turns listening to one another. When the other one is talking, this is very important. I tell clients, listen, we're not going to overtalk each other. If it's something you disagree with, I want you to take this little sticky note, write it down. When it's your turn, I want you to address it in the terms of, I want you to ask them, I heard you say this. Can you clarify for me what you meant by that?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of using such strong words such as you, because you sends a blaming tone. And
Mm-hmm.
then if it's blaming, then the other person in communication with you, they're going to come back with some defensiveness. And
Mm.
therefore you're going back and forth and you're not getting anything done. You're not
Mm-hmm.
accomplishing anything. So just basically learning how to communicate effectively and understanding why this is going on. And that's a very, very important skill. And it's one that you have to practice too.
Mm. Mm. See, I remember a few years back, we used to meet on Tuesday nights. See, because I know you in real life, right?
Right.
And we used to meet on Tuesday nights, and all of us, we were getting off of work, our workplace, and we were
Yep.
meeting at Mario's house. We were meeting at a location, and
Mm-hmm.
we were preparing for Buffalo and Canada, the tour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would see you working, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would
Mm-hmm.
come in, but you were setting up and you were working and you were putting in notes in your computer, or you were writing notes in a chart, and no one was hovering over you, but we would leave you in your space until you finished your work.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
I want to ask you because I know that you're passionate about what you do. You're
Mm-hmm.
passionate about the work with the children and with the families, strengthening the home, strengthening the mind. So, in your experience, what is the foundation of a healthy home?
Mm. The foundation of a healthy home. That's a good question
Mhm,
because so many people look at homes differently in terms of how they're structured. But we want to look at what depicts a healthy home and its foundation. I think that when you have the parents who are in sync, and when I say in sync, whether there's a two-parent home or whether it is a single-parent home, and maybe the father is not in the home, maybe it's just the mother. But when the two are in sync in terms of have a common goal, and that is the child and or children reaching their fullest potential so that
mhm,
they can become productive citizens when they are in sync with them being not just physically healthy but mentally healthy. But a
mhm,
lot of times the I'm going to say the parental structure is not healthy. So we
mhm,
got to have a healthy parental structure when we talk about the foundational healthy home. And so when our minds are healthy and focused on nurturing our children and making sure our children are prepared and equipped, then we're looking at, okay, what is the foundation of a healthy home where there's effective communication, where we're not yelling, cursing at each other. We are acknowledging one another. We're acknowledging our thoughts. We're acknowledging our feelings. We are acknowledging that, you know what, we're not going to always agree. One
mhm,
of the things that I did in my time, excuse me, being a parental guardian was I said, look, I said there's gonna be times where we're not gonna agree,
mhm,
but we're gonna love each other
mhm,
no matter what. I said that because children grow. Children, they change. And when I say they change, they're coming into the next level of phase of development in life. There are the stages of development. And
mhm,
so kids, as they grow, they begin to think that they know.
mhm,
And when a lot of times they do in part, then they don't. But when it comes to the adolescent stage, and if you have children, you know, with the
mhm,
adolescent stage come a lot of questions and different things like that. You're in school. We talked about middle school just a moment ago. You are having associates in school. You're hearing this, you're hearing that. So it's a very critical and crucial time. So when it comes to that particular aspect, you want to say, you know what? Even though we may have disagreements, we're going to love each other. We're going to talk about them. I think that's part of the foundation of a healthy home. When you have also a belief system where you don't solely depend on your own strength, you know, uh, whatever high power you subscribe to, you know, God, you know, I personally am a Christian, you know, and I believe that, you know, talking things out, prayer is, you know, is essential, you know, essential to our home, you know,
mhm,
and what we did. And I think that sets the foundation of a healthy home. And when you're able to allow each other to be who they are, but also respect.
mm,
I think respect is very important because a lot of times we're not respecting one another's thoughts and their feelings. And that what causes sometimes the home not to function as it should. So
mhm,
therefore, the foundation, if we have the values and the standards and principles set in the home, we have to have some standards and principles, and we have to have some values. And those values have to align, and we have to go by them.
mm,
And so when the
mm,
standards and principles and the values are not conducive to what the child's highest potential can be, then you got a breakdown.
Mm.
You got a breakdown. So we have to look at what the standard and principle is for that particular home and the value sets that have been
Mm.
put in place.
Okay. See, as a certified transformation life coach, I help people with their lives. I help them to
Okay.
shift their mindsets.
Yeah.
And you spoke briefly on some of the roles as far as the emotional awareness that it plays in strengthening, the family. So
Mhm.
if one person in a household begins healing,
Mm.
how does that impact the entire family system in your expertise?
If one in the family starts healing, it's like a ripple effect. It can be, you
Mhm,
know, because, and I'll say it like this, just for example, a lot of our homes, you would hear people say, well, I come from a broken home, you
mhm,
know, and this is something that's just been on me. And
mhm,
I was like, I didn't come from a broken home. I came from a single parent home. I had teenage parents.
mhm,
And so as I reflect, it's like, no, I didn't come from a broken home. I came from broken people.
mm,
And so sometimes when the people are broken, and then when the people who happen to be parents are broken, when they come to a point
mhm,
to where, you know what, I need some help.
mm,
I need help. I need to get myself together. And they start the process of healing. It changes the whole trajectory of their future
mhm,
generations. So
mhm,
when they begin to do the work on themselves, it trickles down because people see it. Your children
mhm,
see it.
mhm,
People around you see it. So it can definitely have a great impact. And it can set not only yourself free, you set your children free as
Yes,
well
that's right.
because they're watching. I think
Mhm,
people underestimate how much young people observe and watch those that are parenting them, those that
mhm,
are overseeing them, whether they're at school with their teachers, their principals, whomever, they are watching. And we have to ask ourselves, what am I showing them?
mm,
Am I showing them this? Am I showing them that? And even if you have shown them the wrong thing, being honest and having that authenticity and genuineness about your relationship and saying, I've been wrong about a lot of things. I think that is a thing that we are lacking. And we talking about healing. When it comes to healing, you got to be honest and you got to be vulnerable because both go together. You can't have vulnerability without honesty, and you can't have honesty without vulnerability. But doing those things
mhm,
will help save the next generation because you are not hiding that, what, I was wrong about this, I was wrong about that, and I need help and I'm getting help. And I think what would change a lot of things is if adults, parents, whomever, will show their children or the younger generation, I'm getting help. I'm
mm,
healing
mhm,
so that they would know
mhm.
what it
Yeah.
looks like.
Yes, I love how you stated that in the end. So, as the owner of Sessoms Therapeutic Counseling and Consulting Services, what vision did you have when you launched your practice?
Ooh. My vision, and I tell my clients this when they come in for the first time and we talk and I tell them a little bit about myself.
Hmm.
The vision I have for Sesame Therapeutic Counseling and Consulting Service is to be able to provide services to all mankind.
Hmm.
I talk about how I have service individuals from very or varied cultural, racial backgrounds,
Hmm.
sexual orientations. I
Hmm.
mean, you name it. I mean, heterosexual, homosexual, lesbian, transgender. I've had transgender clients.
Mm-hmm.
I've had Caucasian clients. You know, I've even had Cambodian,
Mm-hmm.
Hispanic. So when I say the aim and the vision was to reach all that I can, and that God will allow me to,
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, no matter what our sexual orientation is, no matter what our cultural identification is, racial background, whatnot, we're still human.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are robots. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore we feel. Even if
Mm-hmm.
we tell ourselves, well, I don't feel, I'm numb, I'm this, oh, you feel something. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and here's another thing. We talked about this earlier when you mentioned about the different states, Southern, Eastern, and the issues and the things that they may face. It doesn't matter what color, it doesn't matter your cultural background,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter your sexual orientation. A lot of individuals are dealing with some of the same things
Yeah.
and need
Mm-hmm.
healing
Mm-hmm.
and tools and resources to work through life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what does leadership in mental health require, especially as a business owner?
It requires it requires for you to be able to stay abreast of all the things that are going on within the mental health world, within the community. Um, just it requires you to continue to build upon the skills that you've already learned. And what I was told when I was in school by one of my professors, and he was so right. When he taught the class, he didn't teach so much from the textbook.
Mm-hmm.
He told us, he said, one of the things he said you're going to learn when you get out there is that you're going to know when you see it. He
Mm-hmm.
said, you're going to know when you see it. And I don't think it could have prepared me for what I was going to see in so many words. There's a textual context to preparation for leading and going out into the mental health field, but there's also, I believe, something that's within you, something that's gifted, within you. And I say this all the time because everyone cannot do it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone cannot do it, but the leadership is, taking on the role in advocating as well, educating, um, being that spokesperson for getting people the help that they need, but also continuously educating yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're out there and you're experiencing it and you're working, things just come to you. Things come to you. But yes, leadership and taking on that, we have to be knowledgeable,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to have a sense of course, integrity and
Mm-hmm.
ethical sense about ourselves. That's
Mm-hmm.
important. That's very
Mm-hmm.
important if we're going to lead.
You have a motto that is very powerful,
Mm-hmm.
being that ray of hope when there is no hope. What does that mean to you personally?
Mm. Personally, it means there are times where you can't even find hope if you look forward. You trying to, because there's so much going on. And sometimes, just like when there's a fire, there's smoke, and you can get covered in the smoke. And you don't want to get suffocated, but sometimes the smoke gets real thick where you can't see.
Mhm.
And so I say that ray of hope when there is no hope is so personal because there have been times where I felt that, you know what, there is no hope. This is just, it's just, but God always sends a word, He sends a message in the least um, expected way.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I say being that ray of hope when there is no hope, and I remember sharing on social media, I was reluctant to going out. I was like, I'm not gonna go out. I'm going to do this transaction and I'm just gonna, do this and that and everything. And life is life, and for a lot of people, even the therapist. I tell my clients, I'm a therapist, but if I pinch myself, I feel that. So the therapist has a therapist. But sometimes, you just get into this mood or mode. And I was like, let me go. This person's like, no, you need to go and make this transaction. And I went and there was this note. And I said, somebody done left a note up here. I said, what they leaving this note? But the spirit said, no, you need to read the note.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I read it and I said, what? God sees, He hears, you are loved by Him. God,
Mm-hmm.
He is waiting on you.
Mm-hmm.
So the being the ray of hope when there is no hope, again, reminded me, here's the ray of hope when there is no hope. So it comes in these little ways that you just don't even expect. And
Mm-hmm.
that did the world of a difference for me that day. I was tired, I was exhausted, being a caregiver for my mom, working full time, running a business, doing
Mm-hmm.
different things. Yeah. So I needed a ray of hope. So we need to be sometimes that ray of hope. Sometimes we are the hope for somebody we don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
It could be how you doing today. Just a little gesture
Mm-hmm.
will give that ray of hope to someone.
Mm. So
So that's
that
why we got to
leads
be careful.
okay. So that leads me to my next question for you.
Hmm.
As a professional, you pour into so many others,
Hmm.
right? You said you see after your mom,
Yes.
you're working in a
Yes.
capacity where you care for others.
Yes.
So what does choosing Shonda look like?
Oh, choosing Shonda looks like setting healthy boundaries uh, within all the relationships that I have with what I do for a living, with family, even with being a caregiver. I'm a caregiver for my mom. She's outside of my home, but I still care for her. I give care to her. So sometimes things can become demanding. And even though they become demanding, you have to take a seat back and say, you know what, wait a minute. Because you can't overextend yourself. And one of the things that I looked at is, if I'm not good, they're not going to be good. My
Mm,
clients are not going to be good. So I have to choose me where I set healthy boundaries. Okay, I'm going to stop doing this at this time. I'm going to try to get in bed by this time. Does that work all the time? No. So my healthy boundaries set with that is still in a work in progress.
mhm,
Setting boundaries even with my mom. This is what I can do. This is what I'm not able to do. And
mhm,
so making sure that the things are done that need to be done and some extra, but some things may have to wait. And it's
mhm,
okay. Choosing me also looks like me going to therapy, me taking care of me. Uh, and as I tell my clients, and I let them know, I said, the therapist has a therapist. And they say, well, I can see that because you see all these people. No, not just because I see all these people. I too am human. You may see me as this superhero, and that's fine. That's how you want to see me. But I too have things that may need to be worked through. And I tell
mhm,
them, I said, I need to be my best self so I can be my best self for you all.
mhm,
And so that's very important. And choosing me is doing the things that I need to do for me to make sure that my mind is healthy, my body is healthy, my spirit is healthy.
mhm,
So it's doing all of that. And
mm,
whatever that looks like, it may look like, listen, I carve out this time to go meet with the trainer. I go to the gym. I may just do nothing, sit on the couch. sit in quietness. I may read, I may write today. So it's
Mhm.
choosing me.
Mm, I love that. So, Dr. Sessoms, I want to end with something very intentional.
Hmm.
See, because a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed in
Hmm.
their homes, emotionally drained.
Hmm.
What would you offer as the first step towards strengthening their minds and their hearts? Now, this is going to be something powerful because I want you to answer this in two ways.
Okay.
Or what I want you to speak to a parent, number one, and then I want you to speak to the child.
Okay. Okay.
So, what's the first step towards strengthening their mind and their heart?
I think the first step is acknowledging that you don't have it all together for the parent. I think the first step is acknowledging that you need help, acknowledging that, okay, I need to take a moment and I need to breathe, acknowledging that I know I have responsibilities. I know these things have to be done, but I also need to check in with myself.
Mm,
And if that means that I need to get quiet and just allow myself to be in the moment. I'm very big on mindfulness, and that's a practice where you just allow yourself to be in the moment. A lot of times, as parents, we have these racing thoughts. They're just going, 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 because we got so much we're trying to do. But at the same time, just allow yourself to be. Sometimes we don't sit in the moment. We don't give ourselves time to just get in tune with what our body is doing.
mm,
And even in that moment, yes, all these thoughts are going to come up in our mind. Just let them come up, but don't judge them. Just, allow them to come up and say, okay, that was a thought, this, that, and the other. I think sometimes, so many times parents run themselves and they don't give themselves grace, you know. But I think and with everything going on today, taking time to meditate, um, if they read, read something. Um, I think we're in such a fast pace that we're doing so many things, and I've been guilty of it till stuff just going on, just all around us. And it's like, slow down, slow down. If anything, I would say, slow down,
mm,
listen more than you talk.
mm,
Like sometimes we talk a lot. We talk, 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 talk. Listen, because we don't realize it. But when we're doing so much and we're doing this and that, we miss things.
mhm,
And so when we miss things, that's when things happen. And it was like, how did this happen? Or how did I miss this? Or I didn't know this, that, and the other. Um, but also getting help, talking to a life transformational coach like yourself, or
mhm,
getting a therapist. There's
mhm,
nothing wrong with talking to someone, talking with someone. One thing that I have learned, and I'm so grateful for this young generation, because they're seeing the need where they want to talk.
mhm,
I get calls all the time, young people in their early 20s and things, and a lot of their issues stem from their childhood, middle high school age, when they were middle school, high school age, and they stem from their parents. So if parents would just take the time to just breathe and communicate and talk, I think that would help them too.
mhm,
Kids, for children, I think that for them, understanding when it's so much going on emotionally and all of that, um, also sometimes we need to be still. As kids, I know sometimes that we ants all around and everything, but even being still and within the home, open your mouth. Say, hey, can I talk? Can we talk? I want to share something with you. Is it okay if I share something with you? Same thing for parents. Sometimes your kids are looking for you to say, can we talk? Can I share this moment? One of the things I used to do, and I love doing it, I would have check-ins.
Mhm.
Let's check in. How am I doing? And then the child vice versa.
Mhm.
So if the child, if you want feedback from your child, then your child should be ready to receive feedback from you. And start off with what you like about what you see about them that they're doing good.
Mhm.
And then the child will tell you what they see that you're doing good, but be ready to hear what's something you may not be doing quite well. And don't take it personal. Take it as a take it as a tool, as a nugget to do better.
Mhm.
Because children will tell you, well, you doing this or you doing this, but having that moment where they can feel safe and secure within their relationship with you, where you can talk. And when you talk, they can share with you truly what's going on and
Mhm.
truly what they feel.
Mhm.
So I think that's important. I think it's very important. I think it's very important that you have that open dialogue, that open communication where they can tell you how they really feel and what they're thinking about what's going on in the home. And you having that responsibility as a parent to say, okay, you may not like it,
Mhm.
but again, respect.
Mhm.
What are we teaching? Respect. You got to respect that they had enough courage to tell you the truth.
Mm.
And I think if the parents start with that, then the children will also do the same thing. So I think
Mm.
just being able to come together and check in is
Mm.
is is one of the most important things. But then some people they don't know how to check in, and so that's important too. But having that space will say, hey, you can come talk to me. Let's talk. Have
Mhm.
that intimacy,
Mhm.
you know, between parent and child where you can, get some understanding, even if you don't like it.
Mhm.
Understanding doesn't mean you're gonna like it. It doesn't mean that you're gonna like it. But what it does mean is that you all are having that conversation where you can work through some things and also begin the healing process.
Mhm. I love the check-ins. I also love um, when you spoke about creating a space, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
big on a sacred space. Create a space where they can actually open up and be honest and vulnerable, with you. So thank you so much for speaking life into both the parent and the child, because see, that's where what strengthens the home, the mind, and the body. So, Dr. Sessoms, before we close,
Mm-hmm.
for those who may want to connect with you, learn more about your services, or follow your work, where can they find you at?
Well, they can find me. I am on Facebook. I do have a business page on Facebook, Sessoms Therapeutic Counseling. I also, excuse me, have a website, and that's STCCS Reviving Hearts and Minds at gmail.com. So that's STCCS Reviving Hearts and Minds at gmail.com.
Dr. Sessoms, thank you for not only sharing your professional expertise, but sharing your heart. Your commitment to strengthening homes, minds, and hearts truly reflects what it means to be a ray of hope. We honor the work that you're doing because, see, I know you in real life and I see you and I honor you for the work that you have poured into children's lives, even when their parents didn't even know how. I honor you. So I always close with the affirmation at the end of my show. And so today I want to say that healthy homes begins with healed hearts. Strong
Mm,
minds are built through intentional care. And
mm,
hope is not just a feeling, it's a decision to seek support. This
that's right.
month, We are choosing healing. We are choosing love. We are choosing ourselves. It has been an honor sharing in this healing and love series with my listening and viewing audience. I am certified transformation life coach Takenya K. Johnson, international speaker, author, business owner, and the host of His Brave, Her Brave, Our Brave. Until next time, I'll see you. God bless you.
Thank you.